I just found the best settings options for Fortnite Chapter 4, and inside of today's video I'm going to be showing you guys what to put your settings to in order to unlock the best performance possible in the new season. However, before we get started with this tutorial, I would just like to let you all know that I'm currently gifting my subscribers the battle pass and any other item in the item shop for completely free. If you guys would like to receive one of these free items, all you have to do to enter this giveaway is simply like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and lastly comment your Epic Games username in the comment section down below, that way I know who to gift it to. Make sure you guys stay tuned with my recent uploads because I'll be announcing the winners in the beginning of the next month. But with that being said, let's waste no more time and hop straight into today's video. But now to get started inside of today's video, I just want to simply make sure that you are inside of the Fortnite Battle Royale lobby, and from here if you don't know how to get to the settings, just want to go to the top left, press on these three lines. Now go to the second to last option down and simply go to the top and press settings. Now that we are inside of this settings tab here, I would just like to let you all know that there are so many new settings inside of this new chapter, so there's a lot that we're going to be covering. The settings options that I'm going to be showing you guys inside of today's video are actually coming directly from Epic Games. But I'm just going to go tab by tab, showing you guys the best settings. Starting underneath video, make sure that your window mode is set to full screen, make sure that your resolution is set to 1920 by 1880, VSync should be set to off, and it's very important that your frame rate is set to a certain amount. So for me personally, I have a 160 frames monitor, so I'm going to set my frame rate to 160 frames. There's a lot of people that try to set their frame rate to a high number like 360 when they only have a 60 FPS monitor. Sometimes you'll put your frame rate so high that your monitor can't even handle it, so it'll just spit out graphics that aren't good at all. I suggest having your rendering mode set to Direct 11, and then for brightness, I just like to have mine at 100. For user interface contrast, I don't like to put anything there, so I just leave it as 0. And if you have your user interface contrast set to 0, it doesn't matter what you have for your colorblind strength. Now scroll down to graphics quality here, and this is where there's actually a bunch of new settings. So for quality preset, make sure you set that to custom, and now go down to anti-aliasing and super resolution. So anti-aliasing is actually just the quality of your screen. Unless you have a really good monitor with a really good PC, I suggest putting this setting to TAA. This is going to provide your game with a really good quality and keeping it really smooth. Now for 3D resolution, make sure you set that to 100. For shadows, it's more of a preference option, but for me, I do not like them. If you're going to add shadows, I wouldn't suggest doing anything over high. But for me, I'm just going to keep it off. Another new setting here that we have is global illumination. Global illumination is kind of like just having a lot of light on your screen. It kind of goes hand in hand with shadows, so say for example you have really dark shadows, then your global illumination is going to make those shadows less noticeable, so you'll actually be able to see your game. Another new setting that we have is going to be reflections right below that, and unless you're a content creator or want the best possible graphics, I suggest setting this to off. It just eats up a lot of your quality for something that's not important. View distance, I like to have this on epic, as well as textures. These make your game look really smooth, and from here we just want to go down to auto download high resolution textures. Make sure that this is set to on, and now go to high resolution texture reminders, and also make sure this is set to on. Now for effects, once again, if you're not a content creator or just want the best possible graphics, I would set this to probably medium or high. Now me personally, I'm going to have it on epic because I want to have the best possible quality for you guys. But if you're just playing Fortnite casually, I suggest once again medium or high for this setting. For post-processing, this is kind of just additional light, and I like to have this on epic. Now just go ahead and make your way down to the advanced graphics section. Underneath this advanced graphics section, I just like to have my show FPS set to off. Because in my opinion, I don't really care what my FPS is as long as my screen looks good. And I feel like it just kind of looks messy. For use GPU crashing debugging, I like to have this off. What this basically is say for example your game crashes. Then this GPU debugging setting will kick in and it'll tell you everything that went wrong in your screen that made your game crash. But for me personally, I don't really care why my game crashed because it's not like I'm going to fix the problem. For latency markers, I like to have this off as well. This goes hand in hand with the debugging settings, so if you have that set to on, then I would suggest turning this latency markers to on as well. Lastly, for this video tab, I like to have my new video reflex low latency turned to on. You can have it on plus boost, but for me that's just too much. Now that we've completed this video tab, I'm just going to go ahead and make my way into the second one, which is going to be game. Now we're not going to be covering a lot of settings inside of this game tab because most of it is just based on opinion while you play. Like for example, auto open doors, I can't tell you what one to put for that because it's more about what you like. However, there are a few settings I'm going to be covering in this tab, and one of these is going to be matchmaking region. This one seems to be pretty self-explanatory, but for some reason I see a lot of people that have their matchmaking region set to like Asia when they live in the US. The best thing to do for this setting is just just set it to auto, and that just puts it to whatever one is closest to you. Some people think that they're going to get into worse lobbies if they set their matchmaking region to something else, but that's not how it works. From here, once you put your matchmaking region to auto, you just want to go ahead and scroll down to the very last section of this game tab. For this last section, you just want to find replays. I highly recommend, if you're not a content creator, set your replays to off. With replays on, it actually eats up so much of your quality. The reason it does this is because in the background, it's obviously broadcasting your game. And when something's broadcasting your game, your quality is going to go way down because some of the quality of your screen is going to that broadcasting tab. So when you have replays on, you're getting about half the quality that you would if they were set to off. But now the next group of settings I'm going to be talking about are going to be sensitivities. Don't worry, I'm going to be covering mouse and keyboard and controller sensitivities inside of today's video. For the x-axis, I put this at 14.9, and it seems to be a really good balance in between really fast and really slow. For the y-axis, I like to have this number just around where the x number is. Now I like my y-axis personally a little bit more faster, so I set it to 15.2. For targeting sensitivity, you're going to want to make sure that you can move quickly between the screens, so I did 30.4. Same thing with scope sensitivity, you want to make sure that you can move fastly along the screen, so I set this to 39.4. For both of these settings below the sensitivity, turn these off. Now go down to keyboard movement and turn this one off as well. For mouse flight, simply put this to 100 and now go to invert aircraft mouse controls and turn this to off. Now lastly, for the tank settings, you just want to go ahead and turn this one off, and now it's time to hop into the controller sensitivities. For edit hold time, obviously put this to 0, and for slide hold time, I like to have this at 0.15. For camera reset axes, put this to pitch. Now for reset camera time, put this to 0 seconds, and lastly vibration, set that to on. Now go down to the sensitivities tab. For multiplayer, I like to have my sensitivity at exactly 3, as well as my edit mode sensitivity multiplayer to 3 as well. And now scroll down to advanced looking sensitivities. For look horizontal speed and look vertical speed, put that to 21. And now for turning horizontal boost and turning vertical boost, both set these to 10%. Now turning boost ramp time should be set to 0.55. And then just go ahead and make sure that instant boost when building is set to on. Now for the last section that I'm going to be covering, you just want to go down to advanced aim down sight sensitivities. For these sensitivities, turn horizontal speed and vertical speed to exactly 28%. Now go down to ADS turning horizontal as well as vertical, and both of these put to 45%. Now lastly, turn ADS turning boost ramp time to 20 seconds. Once you've changed all those settings, make sure that you press apply, otherwise these settings won't save. And with that being said, that's going to bring a close for today's video. Don't forget that I'm going to be gifting my subscribers the battle pass or any other item in the item shop for completely free. And if you would like to receive one of these free items, all you have to do is like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and lastly, comment your Epic Games username in the comment section down below, that way I know who to gift it to. Make sure you stay tuned with my recent uploads because I'll be announcing the winner at the beginning of the next month. But I hope today's video did help you out, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.